Hey friends, Tux here. You know, it has been a month since I got my Sony Walkman, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the 1 month feelings of the NW-A306. Now, first off, I love this Walkman. It's really, really good, guys. It really is. But there is some drawbacks. So the things I'm talking about in this video might be a little nitpicky, but it's the things that you probably will encounter too after you've had this for about a month, okay? And it also responds to some viewer questions. The link for this will be available down below in the description if it's available. It keeps selling out, like constantly this thing has been sold out. So anyway, it may be hard to get a hold of it, but try the link down below. I will keep refreshing it and getting the best link possible. And I would recommend buying it on the Sony store through Amazon for return purposes and everything else, okay? But anyway, so this is what it looks like, of course, and it looks decent. I haven't scratched up real bad or anything like that. Now, there is a video coming out, which I've not released yet, which does talk about a case, which is, this is a one case that is available on Amazon. And we'll have a link for this down below as well. And I'll talk about this a lot more in that unboxing case video, but there really isn't a whole lot to the case unboxing. But it is a little bit of inconvenience having it on. So it's kind of a debate of having it, you know, be a little more scratch resistant by having a rubbery case on. This is very rubbery, you know, so it does protect it. But it just make the buttons a little bit harder to push. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, but more about that in a future video. Okay, so as far as the player goes itself, what you want to keep in mind is that some of these things might be a little nitpicky. So if it seems like I'm nitpicking, I really am. I mean, this thing sounds amazing. I'm still loving the music from it. It definitely sounds great. I'm still using the screensaver, which I know in my early videos I talked a lot about the screensaver, and I really do like it. I do have it come off quite easily, though. If you know, if I want to touch it or whatever, I can get to come off very simply. As far as finding MP3s, it does play MP3s very well. Now, I still am only using the onboard memory on this. I did have a problem when I first got this using the usual flash drive of FLAC files, which I stick into all my players. And when I stuck it into the door, which of course is right down there, okay, you can stick in a card, and I'll probably do a video on this later, it didn't seem to see the files, which is weird. It almost acted like Sony wanted to reformat the card for the player itself, which I thought was weird. If you have any background information on that, let me know in the comments below. But that was my experience trying to use a pre-made you know, memory card full of FLAC music that should play, you know, but it just didn't seem to want to play it. So I've been using the onboard memory, and I still haven't completely filled it out, but of the 32 gigabytes in here, it has gotten pretty full, you know. One viewer asked, like, you know, how many songs can you fit on? It's not enough, you know, for room for music, and it is and isn't, okay? So basically, you know, a good quality, like a SACD audio file can be about 200 megabytes, okay? So you can do the math if you want and figure out, you know, exactly how many that holds. But I would say at very least this could hold about 200 like super high quality songs. But honestly, not every MP3, like you can see from the screensaver here, this one is not of the highest quality. It's higher than a normal MP3. You know, it's a FLAC file, but it falls under this type of, you know, quality. So you'll be able to get probably, I'm guessing, about 500 songs on here. You know, depending upon the quality of the songs, there's a lot of variables about the length of the songs. You know, are you listening to a 2-minute song by Elastica or a 10-minute long song by Rush? You know, it could really be based upon what you have on it and the quality thereof, okay? But I really don't have a lot of problem. There's plenty of music on here, unlike some of my other things where I put a flash drive in here where it's like every song I've ever heard of ever. I tend to just put things that kind of like I'm in the mood to hear on here, so it's a good assortment of things, which I generally like. I don't put like all album tracks on. I just put a couple tracks from the, you know, from the album that I really like, you know. So anyway, that's kind of the deal with that. I wish I had more memory, yes. Is it a major inconvenience? No, still 32 gigs is an appropriate good amount for having some of your favorite music on one device. Will I stick a memory card in here later? Yes, I will, because I'll need the space for sure. Because going 1 month deep, again, it's like I filled it up, you know, so that's something to consider. There's a different screensaver for channel ZB52, so I still love the way it does play a visual indication of the quality of the music file, so I think that's fantastic. People have asked about the powering up part of it, okay? And these buttons are very small, and I have had cases where, like, in the dark, maybe I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting the power to go on. And I know it's right there on the edge. It's right there, literally right at the end, but you can see, it's kind of hard to see, you know? And with the buttons being so small, it's kind of hard to feel sometimes, too. So it can be an issue with that where it's kind of hard to, like, find that button to actually power it up. Now, as far as the time it takes, one viewer commented about it takes longer than it should to power up. And you know that they were using the 4, the older model, or the 5, the older model. And this is like, it's a situation where, yes, it does take longer. Let me go ahead and kind of power this down and show you. So we're going to power this down. Okay, so we're shutting it down. Okay, shutting it down. We're going to hit the button. So now I'm holding the button kind of like a cell phone, releasing, and nothing. All right, hitting it again, holding it like a cell phone. There we go. So now it's finally, now it's saying Sony. And if you run a clock here, you can watch the timer in the video, and you can see it's sitting here for a good amount of time. And I'm not sure if that has to do with the amount of music that's on it. Maybe if there's less music on it, that would make it go quicker. I know if there's less apps on it, that will make it go quicker for sure. So if you delete a bunch of apps, that could improve your speed of booting up. But you can see it's still on Sony. Okay, now we got to Walkman. So now we're kind of going. But if you were like, quickly grabbing this on the go, trying to get to work or something, it takes a little time to actually get to, okay, now it's almost there. There we go. Okay, so now we're to the screen. Now I have to unlock it. And there we go. You see my password for this. I don't use this password for other things, so don't worry. I'm not showing anything special. And here we go. The password is in. And now here is it. We're going to hit Walkman. And now we have to wait another couple seconds for this to load up. And you can see, again, this is kind of, it's a good amount of time. And I'm not really complaining, but I wish I was a little bit faster, honestly. So now we can hit play, and now we're back into the music just a few moments later. So anyway, wish it was quicker. As far as other problems with the player, really none. I mean, it seems like mostly it's pretty scratch resistant. I'm definitely liking the way it looks. Loving the way it sounds. I have been using earbuds. Primarily, I've tried different headphones, okay, of ones I have already, which range in price from, $20 to $30 earbuds on Amazon up to $400 larger, headphones from Alienware and ASUS. And primarily, I use these a lot. These are like little earbuds. These are the SureFans, which is another MP3 audio, high definition audio player that you can see in my videos. I have several videos on that as well. It's a good like $120 player, and these little like $60 earbuds sound pretty darn good, so this has been one of my primary means of listening to music. I'm looking at getting some Sony ones down the road, and I'm getting the new Sony headphones coming too, so I'll be reviewing that in the the week or two ahead. So anyway, I'll be checking out different headphones on it, but so far I find that large cones can help the performance of a song as far as bass goes, but these deliver a lot of bass, so actually I find these pretty darn good, and for the money they're pretty great, and they're not real intrusive. So if you're sleeping or something, you could actually have these in, and it's not like you have to be laying on your back because the cones are so large they'll be pressing on your head. You can actually sleep on your side, and this doesn't really cause any kind of problem. So anyway, you might want to check these out. They're great little in-ear monitors. So anyway, there's that. Other problems, issues with it. I haven't tried any apps except for Tidal. I do use Tidal a good bit though, actually. So that's something which I do have some videos on Tidal. Their music sounds fantastic. There's been some issues about, does it save it to the player or not? I have some traveling coming up. Sorry, my dove is cooing like crazy in the background. She wants attention. But anyway, so I'll see if, how well it works, as far as that goes later. But I do like all the different little discovery things, and the fact it has like, top picks, and it does a really good job actually of, having, again, not just regular MP3s or FLAC files, but, master level quality FLAC files of, almost everything, so it's really great. I love the quality of Tidal, and they do give you a couple free months. This is not sponsored, but it's something which I would check out for free if I were you, and just see if you like it, I definitely would say this is better. I listen to some crazy old stuff on here, all sorts of stuff. I mean, really everything is on here that you can imagine, so I'm really pleased with the quantity of music, especially considering it's 32 gigs and I'm running out of space. Okay, so to recap, this is a great little player. You're gonna love this little player. It makes amazing music. It sounds amazing. It has great features. It has great sound quality, lifestyle choices like EQs and things you could do. Tidal works on it flawlessly, which is fantastic. So you can always have the whole Tidal collection with you at any time. I would say it does have more apps than it needs. Sure, it does boot up a little bit slow. I've had no problems with battery usage. People have asked about the battery a lot. Personally, for me, I've never really had the battery just run dry. You know, I do charge it at night. I do have a video on a multi-unit charger I use for several of my music players. I think I have about 6 music players in there right now, charging up. So I tend to keep things charged all the time. So I really don't have a problem with it running out of juice. It just doesn't happen, you know. But for someone else, maybe it would. So that's something to consider. But personally, for me, I can't say anything bad about the battery. It lasts like for hours and hours and hours and hours. I have no problem. I can use it all day, and I don't have a problem with it running out. And that's with me, you know, going into work, using it, turning it off, you know, or having it power down on its own, and then using it more later in the day and at night or whatever. So I think the battery is very sufficient, you know. If it was a bigger unit, maybe it could fit a bigger battery in it. That's the thought. But all in all, I'd say this is definitely a buy. I'll probably do some more videos on this. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. But just great player. If you're looking for buying yourself one player, I've had this for a month and I absolutely love it. It's great. Okay, I really recommend it. It's just a really great sounding, amazing little music player, you know. And this again has the features of players which cost, you know, $1,000, $2,000. It has really disrupted to me the music industry, because this little Sony player has features of players that are double, triple, quadruple its price. So it's really well worth it to get this exact player, okay? I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And the music quality, it's amazing. You're going to love how it sounds, okay? All right, friends. Hope you're having a good one. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And, of course, there will be a link for this in the description down below as well, okay? Have a good one. Bye-bye.